accommodation for people to make retreats or to gather for days of reconciliation. The refurbishment of these buildings would be costly, but some money will have to be spent anyway, just to avoid their further decline to dereliction. Money can be found for this refurbishment and development. It should be stressed immediately that no money accrued from the closure or sale of any church will be used to improve facilities at Wardley Hall. If there are closures of churches or the sale of presbyteries, the money from such sales will be held by the parish in which those buildings are situated. Any project to develop Wardley Hall will need to be managed in stages and will take some time to complete. It will be important to have an understanding and agreement of the full project before any work is done, so as to avoid any duplication or unnecessary work. Individuals' comments from the consultation also speak of the desirability that the bishop should preside at Wardley Hall. For the time being at least, I would not want to contest that wish, which is expressed by both priests and people. It would be important for me that I should not reside there in any sense of isolation. I would hope that there may be opportunities to welcome a small community, religious or lay, or that there would be regular visitors and guests. It would not be appropriate to think of the building being a residence just for one or two people. The changing church, a development plan. I have described above the plan for the realignment of parishes. This is clearly the foundation of the future development of the diocese, but all aspects of diocesan life needs to be considered as part of the whole picture. The assuming of much administration and diverse ministries by the laity is vital for the progress of the parishes, just as the work of the Trustees Board will guide decisions of governance and legal compliance. The establishment of a diocesan pastoral council will also assist in giving a pastoral direction to the life of the diocese. The introduction of the permanent diaconate will strengthen our sacramental ministry. While individual parishes will have their own particular character and priorities, it is essential that we have a common missionary model that binds us together as a church. We must be listening to one another so as to benefit from shared initiatives and pastoral practice. There must be a keen sense of working together to achieve the best possible results. It is important then that we have a development plan which is consistently revised and, where necessary, revised and updated. Statements about the development plan should be readily available on the diocesan website. Information is important. If the diocese is to work as one church in mission, then the clergy, religious and people of the diocese should have access to information concerning the life of the diocese. There will be an annual report on the state of the diocese with a financial statement. Essential initiatives already being developed. It is appropriate that I give an account here of 4 initiatives upon which I have already taken action. Each seemed to me to be both obvious and essential for the good working of the diocese. In the first place, I have convened the Clergy Welfare Committee. From both a pastoral and medical point of view, it is essential that we care for those priests who become ill and for priests who retire from ministry. Having given their lives to priestly ministry and often only retiring at the ages of 75 years or more, they must be assured of appropriate housing and medical care. It is also important that they should still feel in contact with their diocese, even though they may have opted to live outside of the diocese in their retirement. The Welfare Committee has a dual function. In the first place, priest members of the committee maintain personal contact with all of the retired priests and, where feasible, visit them. These priests are able to report any particular need and can assist in determining the time when a priest might need assistance in his living conditions or nursing care. The other function of the medically trained members of the Welfare Committee is to assist in ensuring that a sick or retired priest is obtaining the best medical care and access to appropriate housing and accommodation. I am most grateful to the work already done by this new committee and the generosity of its members. Of course, many priests will have family members and even their own home when they retire, but the committee ensures that no one in need at that stage of their lives is left without recourse to assistance. It also seemed essential to form a diocesan property committee. The diocese has a considerable amount of property, which is, of course, a great asset. That asset easily becomes a liability if not properly maintained and used. It became clear that due to past closures of some parishes, there were a number of buildings left vacant. It is important that our premises are used, whether to meet our own needs or by leasing to others. The Diocesan Property Committee has the task of making an audit of all the premises that we have and to ensure that there is proper maintenance and contracts for occupancy and usage. In due course, the committee will oversee building and repair projects in the parishes, will also be able to oversee any sales or future purchases. These matters, again, best left with the management and expertise of lay faithful, leaving priests to concentrate on their priestly and pastoral ministries. We live in an age of communication and information. We also preach a gospel message as the root and foundation of our evangelization. It is essential, therefore, that we give careful consideration to communications. A new communications office is in the process of being set up at the Cathedral Centre. This office will be responsible for keeping the diocesan website up to date. It will be a channel for both news within the diocese and beyond. It will provide news items about the life of the Church and the diocese. Salford Diocese has benefited greatly from the presence and apostolate of numerous religious congregations. Their work still continues in many of our parishes. It is important that there be appropriate pastoral care for the religious and the firm bond with the diocese. I have appointed a small team to provide care and assistance and to keep me informed of any concerns. The 3 vicars for religion are themselves members of religious congregations. The organogram. The consensus expressed in the consultation allows me to immediately make a number of decisions about our sacramental life, pastoral life, and the administration of the diocese. Whilst, as noted earlier, other matters require further consideration. Over the past few months, I have been thinking about the structure that we need at the centre of the diocese in order to enable us to be the missionary disciples that Pope Francis invites us to be. The diagram at the end of this report shows that structure, refined through initial discussion with the priests and in light of the outcome of the consultation. I have also been able to ask some priests and people to take up various positions of responsibility in the diocese, some being confirmed in positions they already held and others starting afresh. I would like to take this opportunity to thank all those who have held various posts during this past year and carried out responsibilities with which they had been entrusted by my predecessor, Bishop Terence. That continuity in my first year has been invaluable to me. At this point, it is sufficient to name only the 2 Vicars General, Monsignor Anthony Kay, Moderator of the Curia, and Canon Michael Cook, evangelisation, and the 5 episcopal vicars: Canon Paul Brindle, care of the clergy; Father Paul Daly, care of formation; Canon Anthony McBride, education; and Father Peter Hopkinson, dialogue; and Father David Glover, caritas. Each of them will lead teams of clergy and lay people who will be responsible for the developing mission of our diocese for evangelisation and social outreach. The diagram shows the curia and administration aspects of the diocese on the left, overseen by Monsignor Anthony Kay, and the evangelisation and mission aspects on the right, overseen by Canon Michael Cook. Clearly, the administration must work in service of the mission of the Church, and the mission be accountable to the administration. Collaboration is a key word, and the Vicars General and Apostolic Vicars will ensure that this is in place across all aspects of diocesan life. At the top of the diagram, there are various consultative bodies and trustees. The clergy and the religious are an important resource, and so they feature at the centre of the diagram under the care of myself, the Vicars General, the Episcopal Vicars for Clergy, and the Vicars for Religious. Conclusion. The purpose of the consultation was to gain the opinions of as many people as wished to be involved, and to begin to set the direction for the development of the Diocese of Salford for the next generation. I believe that it has achieved its purpose. The consensus on all questions has been a common discernment. There is now much work to be done so that we can achieve those things which are considered desirable, indeed vital, for our well-being and for our further development as a missionary diocese. As a close to this report, I would ask you to continue to use the prayer, "Stay with us, Lord, on our journey," as a common petition with the Lord, so that His will may be done in all things, and that we may be His ambassadors in all that we are about in His name. May God bless you and your families. May we all be generous, embracing change, and sensitive to one another as we take the next step of that journey together with the Lord. Bishop John, Bishop of Salford. Given November 2015.